Well, story time. Alright, so I was at Home Depot the other day, and I saw this really cool tool, and it wasn't really that expensive, but it was like this Milwaukee Sawzall hand saw, and it like chucked up Sawzall blades, like with the quick thingy that the Milwaukee ones have and nobody else does. Maybe other ones do now, I don't know, mine doesn't, but it was really, really cool. It's only like 20 bucks, but I didn't really want to spend 20 bucks on it because I was looking at it, I'm like, I wonder if I can make something like that. Now granted, this isn't going to be nearly as cool with the little quick detach thing. It's probably going to use a bolt to change these out, but I'm still going to give it a shot and see what I can come up with. And, well, you're going to see that now. So I got this piece of, I think, 1/8 inch flat bar, and what I'm going to try to do, this is going to be the tang or the handle, and I'm going to trace around this guy. I don't think this is a Milwaukee brand, maybe it is. Torchy, I think this is the Milwaukee brand, I'm pretty sure that's what these ones are, but I'm going to trace around that and then grind it out a little bit, just about the thickness of this saw blade, so that way it kind of sits down and it holds it in place, and then I'm going to drill a little hole. So I'm not really certain how I'm going to do this, probably really sloppily and crappily, but I have a welder so I can fill in anything that didn't intend to grind. The idea here is hold that in place forward to back, or I guess back, and then the bolt will hold it from sliding forward. And so will the clamp, I guess, because it'll be kind of clamping it in place. So that looks about right. I'm gonna, maybe I'll use a die grinder for this, which is gonna be really annoying. So I will time lapse it. So I got it all flush with that die grinder. So now it accepts that a lot better. Just about flush. I did leave on purpose a little bit of thickness. Now, problem here is that these are all different thickness blades, so this is going to slightly change the way this clamps up, but the clamp is going to kind of accommodate for that. It's just going to be a piece of flat bar with a bolt here in the middle. And I'm thinking actually instead of a bolt, I'm just going to do a peg, and then there'll be 2 bolts right here kind of as bolsters for that little clamp here. And that'll kind of act as, well, I'll show you what I'm going to do with the handle, but right now I'm going to actually measure out the handle to see how big I want it. So I do want to shape it. So the saw blade's going to be right about here. I'm going to want something to probably put my thumb on, and then something for my pointer finger to kind of grip, and have those be a little bit offset. So with that in mind, I'm going to position my hand about there, and I'm going to leave a bit excess in case I want to add some sort of a secondary like function on the bottom, maybe a bottle opener, I don't know. I guess just a flat piece of bar will be good enough as a bottle opener. Here, I'll use that mark, and then just use a square to mark that the rest of the way, which is conveniently not right next to me like I thought it was. Damn. So right next to me. Anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and cut this off right here. So I got my handle length figured out, and then I'll shape it in a second. But for now, I'm just going to cut that off and start working on the clamp here. And I'm thinking I'm just going to do a peg for this hole. Like just a little pin, or tack a little nub there. Something, I don't know what I'll do exactly, but maybe drill a hole and throw like a metal dowel through there. That's probably the best idea, actually. Drill a hole and throw a metal dowel through there. So you don't plan things out, I'm just kind of winging this. Go ahead and mark me a little hole. seem to be pin. And I'm probably just going to use a bolt, honestly. And then you remember to drill that kind of down a little further to the drill press. So I had the right idea, just the wrong size self-tapper there. So I'm just going to leave that too long and cut that later once I'm all done. Now, sorry to clear my throat a little bit. Now I'm going to probably just tack the clamp to this flush and then drill a hole through there so that that hole for sure lines up, and then throw that pin through and tack it, and then drill the other two holes for the other two parts of the clamp. That way I know everything stays perfectly good and lined up, and I mean, cutting that tack, I can grind it all flush. A lot of this material is going to get removed anyways, so stay tuned. So right here, to tack it in place, make sure everything stays fairly precise. I'm making sure to flush it up with the flat side of this magnet here, and then I'm going to go ahead and tack the bottom. Grounded. Beautiful. Alright, that should center me up pretty good. That all tacked up, I'm just going to hit the drill press and then start drilling all my holes. That way they're both the same on, you know, both sides. Alright, well, got the holes drilled. I'm gonna cut the clamp off now, and it'll be two pieces again, and then I'm gonna widen these holes out. Unfortunately, I do have to run to the hardware store because even though I buy giant boxes of bolts every time I get bolts, I ran out of quarter-20, which just goes to show why I buy giant boxes of bolts. But even doing that, you still run out of hardware. I wonder how much those cost now. Clamp this up, cut it, and go to the hardware store, I guess. So I'm back from the store, got some goodies. Turns out 13/64 is not going to work for a 1/4 inch tap. That's not the right hole, it's this hole. I realized that upon sticking the tap in there, and it was way too big, so I didn't want to break anything. And then I got these real itty bitty 1/20 bolts, grade 8. That is big on the head side. I might grind that a little flatter, but the reason I went with that is because I was going to get machine screws, but the machine screw is like $1.50 a screw, and you know, screw that. I also got a box of some nuts and bolts that I needed to restock on anyways, but that's not really important for this project. This is what we needed. This isn't really a how-to though, I'm just kind of messing around, so you don't have to copy this, but if this does give you an idea, I mean, I'm stealing this idea anyway, so feel free to make one. So as I was kind of test fitting and seeing if nuts on the back would work, I ended up stripping the mild steel, so definitely had to go with nuts. They were Nylox nuts, so I ground that little extra part off to make it all flush with that. Went ahead and drilled a little slot in there so to make it a little easier to screw and unscrew with less tools. You know, I'm more likely to have a flathead or a knife to turn that. But anyways, as far as the handle goes, at this point, if you wanted to, you could just wrap this thing with electrical tape and call it a day. Maybe grind it down a little bit so you have a little extra padding, or maybe form it. But what I think I'm going to do is, over here I have this set of antlers that my brother found in his backyard. And I don't know what the hell it's from, maybe the previous owners, because I don't think they shed part of their skull. I could be wrong, I'm not an expert, but I'm going to cut up a piece of this and use it as a handle. I was thinking of using this piece here, just because of the shape of it. It kind of has that little guard for your finger, sort of, and then it has that little extra bit in the back, and it is long enough for 2 hands. You can kind of stuff 2 hands on there if you have to. I mean, I guess you can grip that in the back a little further, but either that or I'm going to make scales, like with this. That way I can still utilize that idea I had of essentially doing this same thing on the back for a different type of tool, or maybe just a spike or something, I don't know. But I'm not sure yet. I'm gonna brainstorm, figure it out. I'll tune back in when I've come up with something. Oh my gosh, I hate the smell of this crap. That little shot smells nasty. Anyways, got the scales put together. No way you can see that, but nice little handle. I think what I'm gonna do is have this flipped over this way, so that way the flared part is at the bottom. And then I am going to go ahead and cut this a little shorter. How do I want to do that? Part of me wants to leave this exposed, like I said, for that option to have another tool on here or something, but I don't know. We'll see, I guess I'll map it out, but I'll drill a couple holes for some pins, get the epoxy ready, I guess. Off so you can hear. Oh, well, I've got all three of the holes drilled for the pins for the handle. I decided to scrap the idea of the little 1/4-inch drive sticking out just because, honestly, mostly because it didn't look good and I was really liking the way this thing was coming out. So whatever, sacrifice a tiny bit of functionality, but what the hell do you need a 1/4-inch drive on a saw for, you know? The hammer, on the other hand, you know, you could saw something and drive a nail. I mean, it's not like you're gonna build a whole house with this damn thing, but pretty hefty. I mean, it makes a decent hammer. Probably not so great as a saw given the weight, but oh well. Here it is so far. All that's left to do now is pin it and epoxy it. So, yeah. I'm not the best at epoxying things, but here it is. It's drying. Pins are in there, epoxy's all slathered on as liberally as possible and filled in some of the gaps there. That's gonna look like shit eventually, but I can always cut it out and fill it in with more epoxy, do a better job, or you know, maybe even fill it in with a little wooden insert and epoxy over it so it looks cool. But anyways, I'm not upset with how this is turning out. Not mad. I'd say it's a good use of a Saturday. I think this thing's cool. Well, there it is. I'm pretty happy with the way this turned out. The handle is really the only extra part. I mean, it's not really pretty by any means, but it's definitely a step up from like, maybe from like, I don't know, just some basic modern plastic handle, I guess. I like it. I could probably have polished that, maybe welded it a little better, because I did leave a crack. It was more for function than form, but I'm not mad with the way that turned out. I feel like I should have done something up here to close that gap. I think I might just add more epoxy for now. Just tape it off and fill it in, but yeah. Well, anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the content. This was just me kind of messing about in the shop Saturday, so I actually fucking literally took me all day. I think I started at around 9 a.m. It's now 9 p.m. So basically 12 hours doing this. I mean, some of it was waiting for stuff to happen and then running back and forth to stores and crap, but you know, just all day little project, and I'm happy for it. So save 20 bucks, which isn't, I mean, it's not like the tool's not worth it. I feel like that's a decent price for the tool. It's a little thing at Home Depot. It's like the Milwaukee handsaw thing. I saw it in like as a drywall saw, and it just chucked up a drywall sawzall blade. You could put whatever kind of blade in that you want, but it's a nice little handsaw. I was thinking of maybe adding like different tools to that, like making myself different little attachments, like for a scraper or something, like a gasket scraper, maybe like a screwdriver that bolts up to that, I don't know, or maybe like a plate that has a little 1/4-inch female end, but you know, whatever. I might update you on those things. Otherwise, thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it, and please like and subscribe, and God bless you.